Hey guys, this is Chris from Brack. Just so you know, you only got a few weeks left in our fantastic Brickfilms contest. But you know what? We're going to help you out with some magic, as in special effects magic. Today, I'm going to show you how to do a basic wand effect in After Effects. So before we can get started, you need to make sure that you have the Saber plugin from Video Copilot installed. So if you go to Video Copilot's website and look for their Saber plugin, you can download it right here. It'll prompt you to save the file, and you can save it to whatever folder you like. Once your download is complete, you can pull up the file here, extract all, and double-click this installer. Now that we have Saber plugged in, we can get started. So the first thing we need to do is to load in our footage. So what you'll notice here is that the minifigure kind of raises his hand, charges up, throws the wand forward, and we have the object transform. I'm going to quickly rewind here back to where he's starting to charge up. So let's see. Right about there is pretty good. Then we're going to go under Layer, New, Adjustment Layer. We're going to rename this adjustment layer to Wand Effect. Actually, to be even clear, Wand Beam Effect. Expand this so we can start seeing keyframes. Now we're going to go up here, grab the pen tool, and we're going to start drawing a mask. So this is pretty simple. You just want to do about 5 or 6 points. Just kind of something super basic. And boom, here's our mask. This is going to represent the path of travel for our beam. Now we're going to go into here under Masks, down to Mask 1, and click on Mask Path. This will allow us to change these keyframes over time, so that way our design will follow the wand as we want. So let's go ahead and do that now. What we want to do is we want to paint the wand so that way the points generally move towards the object that we are transforming. In this case, the trash can. So right about here, we want to extend it a little bit. Then here, we'll grab the points and we'll draw them out a bit more. Now, there's no real good way to do this, but what you generally want to do is the point at which it's transformed is right where you want the points of your effect to touch the object. Then right after this, we're going to have the effect leave the wand like a beam. Still roughly touching the object even though it's transformed. And right about here, we're going to shrink the beam as if it were dissolving into the object. So for this ending part here, we'll just kind of have it fade out. Now that we got this effect in place, you can see that our beam moves around. Now we haven't added anything to this effect quite yet. It's just a mask. But what you'll notice is that here, the beam is going to be outside of the wand's reach. And here, the beam's going to stay long after the effect's been done. So what we'll do is we'll go to this keyframe here. Then we'll go ahead and use the select tool, grab our mask, and drag it out of frame. There are much cleaner ways to get rid of masks. However, this one's pretty short, dirty, and it gets the job done. All right. So now you'll see our beam shows up, transforms, and our beam is gone. It's out of the frame. And we are going to load up our Saber plugin. So drag that right over here to your adjustment layer. And you might be thinking, wow, Chris, what a ripoff. This is a Star Wars effect, not a Harry Potter effect. And I say to you, almost. The great thing about the Saber plugin is that you can select any beam. So here's your default, there's an arc reactor, some lightning, there's a cool firestorm one. And I really want to try out this, what was it, Inferno one, there we go. This looks pretty sick. But if you go right down here, you'll notice Patronus. Ah, there we go. That's a word from the books and the movies. So what we're gonna do is right click our adjustment layer, go up to blending mode, and then click screen. There we go, the black background's gone. Now we're going to go under Customize Core, Core Type, Layer Masks, and boom! Our beam is being drawn right around there. Now one thing to point out is that the beam, if it's too close to a really bright light source, like what I have here, as an example, it's kind of hard to see. However, you can change the beam so it's a little more noticeable, which is pretty nice for when you're doing the effect. So what we can do is change the core size to something a bit bigger. I find usually values around 3 or 4 are pretty nice. Glow intensity, we're going to scale that back a bit. And we're going to increase the spread. Let's see here. Just kind of have to play around with it back and forth till you find something you like. There we go, we got some gold there. All right, let's check out how this looks. Oh, that looks pretty cool. Trashus Muggus. I don't know how this works. Now you might be thinking, that is the most boring object transition ever. And you're right. We kind of want something to show that the object is being affected. So what we're going to do is add what I call a halo. So what we want to do next is go under Layer, and New, and Adjustment Layer. And we're going to name this one Object Halo. So this is where you need to find the frame where your object is there, one where it transitions, and then one right afterwards. These 3 are going to be important. What we do is we take a pen tool, and we just kind of do a rough mask around. Now, it doesn't need to be perfect. And in fact, the more, little points you do, and in fact, the more points that you do, the more obnoxious it's going to be on the next step. I learned this the hard way. There we go. Notice boom, and boom. Right about here is where we want the mask to shrink wrap, in a sense, around the mug. So we go under Masks, Mask 1, and we make sure that the mask path is keyframed. Go back up here to the trash can, make sure we got a keyframe there. Then we go back here, and we want to shrink our keyframe around the new object. The great thing about this effect is that it looks really awesome when you have a small object going to a big object, or a big object going to a small object. You can do either one, and it'll be just fine. Alright, so trash can, mug. Now in between, you'll notice that it tried to fill in the keyframes between the 2 sizes. And it's not quite right. We can easily adjust that though. So you want to keep the general form of the first object while slowly starting to converge around the second object. That's what makes the effect look really good. We have a little bit of a dip in there because the trash can lid's going away. And we're going to shrink this a bit as the handle is going away. Trash can, mug. Trash can, mug. Now make sure that when you add your mask, it's in add mode. So we're going to go back under effects here, and we are going to look for glow. Under stylize, glow. Now you notice it kind of creates a bit of an outline around the cup here. What we want to do, though, is instead of highlighting the space, original colors, want to go for A and B colors. So you'll see this kind of creates a bit of an edge around how the edges are glowing. Then what we do is we crank up that intensity. Our threshold, we can change this until it matches kind of the outline of the cup. I think that looks pretty good right there. We can extend our glow radius if you'd like. Let's go right about there. Next, we need to add brightness and contrast. And we will crank up that brightness. There we go. And play around with the contrast a bit until you don't have any dark spots on it. There we go. If you drag back, you'll see the effect around the object. And there we go. Got a bit of a glow. Except we have a slight problem. The object is still glowing before and after. And on top of that, we got a really obnoxious looking halo here. It just doesn't really work. So what we'll do is we'll go back to our mask and we'll drag these keyframes out of shot before and after. Boom. See how it kind of like shrink wraps the halo around the object? And the halo only really appears when you got the lightning. But we just need one last little thing to put the cherry on top. So the best way to do this is to go to one of the in-between scenes. Under Mask Feather, kind of play around with the pixels until your mask kind of blends into the background. There we go. So we still got a bit of a halo, but it's a lot softer. And there you have it. Now our effect looks a little something like this. Whoosh. Whoosh. That's pretty cool. Now, This isn't the only way to do the effect, of course. There are multiple different ways that you could change this. And there you have it, a really basic wand effect. Super easy, guaranteed to put a little bit of extra pizzazz in your brick film, or your money back. And that is all. Thank you so much for watching. Best of luck in Brack's fantastic Brickfilms contest, and we look forward to seeing your entries.